Today we're going to be talking about thermographic imaging and blood analysis of over 100 patients. So recently there was a study done where doctors took 100 patients and they all had one thing in common. They were all suffering from random heart attacks. So the doctors did a test and they said, hey, come in here. You know, they volunteered 100 patients that were all having heart attacks, and these people were seemingly healthy people, no health conditions prior to this event. So what the doctors were finding was, in these people's bloodstream, 100 patients, they're all having heart attacks, they're finding something in their bloodstream called graphene. Hydroxide. It's also known as GHO. Now, what is graphene hydroxide? It's a monolayer of activated carbon. So it's activated carbon, but it is only 50 millimeters long and 0.1 millimeters thick. That's extremely small. And that is what's known as a nanoparticle because it's so small. Now, basically what this activated carbon is, it's a monolayer, and they're basically pieces of carbon that are as sharp as a razor blade. So they all have the same symptoms. They did the blood analysis and they have graphene oxide in their bloodstream. The graphene is 50 millimeters long and 0.1 millimeters thick. That makes it a nanoparticle. You can't even pick it up with your eye. You need a microscope. It's a carbon as sharp as a razor blade. So now what happens to people who take this, and by the way, this carbon is non-biodegradable, so it just keeps flustering through the body. So basically what happens is these carbon nanoparticles basically go through the epithelium tissue circulatory system. So what is that? That's your veins. So this stuff is floating around people's veins, and what is it doing? It's cutting their veins, and it's collapsing their veins. So you got damage to the veins, and also the brain and cardio system. So for whatever reason, these people have this in their bloodstream, and it's in there floating around, and through their veins. Obviously, it's how your blood travels. But not only getting damage to their veins, but these nanoparticles are going to their brain and cardiovascular system, and their whole body becomes inflamed. So now what happens after this, there's protoplasts in your blood that indicate your body is toxic and physically weakened, and it can invade body tissues. Disease that present after this, that this study found, was AIDS, tissue damage, arthritic infections. It'll impair your renal function, and that's your brain, and it can cause diabetes. So everyone in this study not only had the same symptoms in their bloodstream, but now when they do the thermographic imaging on their body, they can actually see these nanoparticles going through the person's veins. Now, why is this important? Because we don't know why this is in people's bloodstreams. There's a mass amount of people that are going into hospitals, and doctors are doing tests, and they are finding this in their bloodstream. I just want to talk about this because this is a phenomenon that's going around all across America, and they cannot figure out how graphene hydroxide got in people's bloodstreams. But basically what it's doing is it's going into their bloodstream, and they're of exceptional stability, and they're non-biodegradable. So they cut through your epithelium tissue of the circulatory system, causing damage to your veins, brain, and cardio system, and your whole body becomes inflamed. It's highly magnetic. And why is this a concern to me? How TV monitors from electromagnetic waves affect the body. Now that people have something highly magnetic in their bloodstream, what's to say a half Hz signal or 2.4 Hz signal, and now we even have 5 Hz thanks to 5G. So could it be that these people who have this in their bloodstream are being hit by electromagnetic waves? They're having heart attacks because this graphene hydroxide is highly magnetic. So can this technology cause someone to have a heart attack?